School Board of Education will come to order. Mr. Frazier, will you call the roll?
Mike.
Let me start that again. This meeting of the Hamilton City School District's Board of Education will come to order. Mr. Frazier, will you call the roll?
Mrs. Baker,
Here.
Mr. Isgro,
Here.
Mrs. Matthews.
We have an update, I believe, from Mr. Smallwood from the freshman school.
Yes, tonight we have Ty Smallwood, Tyler Blue, and Megan Eichenberger, the three administrators at the Hamilton High School freshman campus, that are going to give us some information about what has been going on at the freshman campus, and they're putting the FC on the map. So, Ty, I'm going to turn this over to you.
All right, we prepared this like an episode of Shark Tank. We have a timer. Try to keep this to 15 minutes. I promise you. All right. So first of all,
Michael.
we would like. Check, check. Testing. Good to go. Okay. All right. So instead of musical number, what we'd like to do tonight is, first of all, thank you all for allowing us the opportunity, not only to present to you about what's happening at the FC, but also for the opportunity to do what we love, which is serve the students of the Hamilton City School. So join with me today is Mr. Tyler Ballou. That's Megan Eichenberger. I feel like this is one of the most dynamic teams that I've worked with. So a title of our presentation tonight is Putting the FC on the Map. All right, so we are a standalone freshman campus, as you all know. It is a unique thing to have 700 15-year-olds in one building. So you can either look at that as something that is very difficult, or you can look at that as an opportunity. And I say it every day on the announcements, to the point where students, they make fun of me, I admit, but I say this is the most important year of your high school career. And we say that because our dynamic staff wants to start students off on the right foot in their educational journey. There's a lot of research that supports that if the freshman year students are on track, they're going to graduate high school. We want to level that up this year, and that's why we're getting on the map. 3 things we're going to talk about tonight, very quickly. We wanted to have a clear vision and data-informed goals. We want every student to be on track for graduation and beyond, so we define that very clearly with data. We have checkpoints along the way. We want them not only to be on track, but have the skills necessary to be successful in their futures. We want to build a positive culture. We're doing that through the FC House system. You're going to hear a little bit about that, which creates a sense of belonging for students. With 700 kids in one building, we create these little schools within a school to allow kids to have that personal connection. And then we want kids to be future focused and future ready. We want them to have the tools and the skills that they need to plan for their futures. And as Mr. Holbrook says, we want to bring the juice every single day. We want to put the energy and effort that our kids deserve, because we have one question for you tonight. Are you ready?
To be on track for graduation and beyond.
We had to really lure her into doing that. While having the most fun, humanly possible, dynamic team at the FC there. Things we're not even going to talk about tonight. There's so many really cool things happening at the freshman campus to get kids prepared for their future. We are not even going to talk about the virtual reality pilot we're doing with our algebra students, where they're immersed in this immersive algebra experience to see things real world. We are not going to talk about our award-winning programs in Winter Guard and ROTC. We're not going to talk about the partnership that we have with the main campus and the Early College Academy that's creating a pipeline for students for their futures to have not only a high school diploma, but also to have an associate's college degree. We're not even going to talk about all that. What we are going to talk about tonight is that students like this is a student named Eckley Bridges. He said, "This year has made me realize who I am as a leader. I want to one day raise my family in Hamilton and be successful." And what we're starting to see is we're really breathing life into that message. And we're getting our top achievers wanting to live in Hamilton, succeed in Hamilton, and build their futures here, which is really important to us.
So our biggest goal here is to get our kids on track for graduation. We want them to walk across that stage and be successful in our community. I don't think that's gonna load. So that when they walk across the stage, it's more than just a diploma. So the biggest thing that they don't know, what does it mean to be on track freshman year? It's high school, it's new, they don't even know what a credit is, many of them. So we tell them they have to earn five full year courses to earn 5 credits during the freshman year and not fail more than 1 semester of a course. If they do that, they're considered on track. And we tell them this time and time and time again, and they know that that is a very clear goal and they can reach it, and we show them how. And we came up with this by looking at some research out of Chicago, which says if they can do that, earn those 5 credits, fail no more than 1 semester, it's a 1-to-1 comparison for graduation. That is the bar that they need to reach to continue that path and to start that path. And when we look at our data, we are getting more and more kids on track for graduation every year. In 2021, we had 87% of our kids on track. Last year, we got it up to 91. This year, based on first semester, we're at 94. We're really hoping to get to 95 this year. I think we're going to get there.
So a big piece of this that we have put into place has been our credit recovery program. This actually started back in 2019, 2020. Originally only started including the English language arts and the math courses. We have since expanded that to also include world history, physical science, as well as environmental science, biology, et cetera. So what we've seen here is a large spike in what appears to be our numbers. We are generating way more credits through this, but with the Freshman on Track initiative, we're being more proactive with it. We're actually seeing less students in credit recovery this school year than what we have seen in the past, and I think a large piece of that is because of some of the different Freshman on Track initiatives that you're going to hear about tonight, as well as our house system. 4 core out the door. Here's a little hype video. This is all student buy-in. This is student driven. These are students who are excited in the building. They're creating their own initiatives. They're coming in saying, hey, Mr. Smallwood, what do you think about this? Could we try this? Could we have a meeting at lunch? Could we bring Melanated Matters over and have an after-school meeting? So this hype video here, this is all student driven with a great group of our students last school year who were motivated to do that. Expanding from student buy-in, though, none of this would be able without staff buy-in. For us, our staff buy-in has led to an increased amount of collaboration. We have 3 different events up here on the slide. Our 2022 BLT summer retreat that we did at Markham Apartment, just a sample of one of our after-hours events, as well as just a data meeting that we were having, looking at winter map data, as well as Freshmen on Track. Really focusing on making data-driven decisions using historical data to ensure that our students are future-focused, future-ready, that they do have the knowledge and skills when they leave our building. So I spoke briefly about MAP. Our teachers have totally bought into MAP. They love MAP testing. We have now a really nice pipeline in terms of data coming to us from the middle school level. Even the elementary school, we're going to start seeing some of that information. So we have great historical data to look at from that perspective. So here, this is a sample of what our numbers looked like last school year in terms of reading and math for student achievement. So we're just close to 67% in reading and 75% in math. This school year, we are expecting to meet that 80% mark. I do want to highlight some really impressive growth that we've had, especially in our math numbers, really within our special education program as well. So if you look at these MAP data charts here, the gold diamond is what is indicated as your expected growth, okay? The bar graph is telling us where our actual growth is. So we definitely want to hit that diamond or exceed that diamond. So particularly here on the right, you can see our math numbers for this school year, and a big piece of that has been spurred by our special education growth. It's been literally incredible to watch that cohort come together and to see all of this happening.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about our Freshmen on Track and MAP, our academic goals. We also wanted to change the culture of the freshman campus because there was a little bit of a stigma attached to the freshman campus in the sense that there's a lot of behaviors and those types of things. So we did some research about national models on positive behavior interventions and supports, which is a state requirement. How can we make that secondary friendly? Because secondary students, they don't want just toys and trinkets. It's a tough thing to do PBIS with secondary students. So we saw the Ron Clark Academy was a national exemplar in inner city Atlanta, and we instituted what we call the FC House system. That has been incredibly dynamic. It has changed. The bar graph there shows last school year, our TFI, which is a state required assessment, we have exponentially seen growth in our positive behavior interventions and supports. We have seen a 30% reduction in second semester suspensions as of Friday of last week. So we're starting to finally see some growth in student behavior due to this FC House system. This grew out of last school year. We believe every student every day that checks in with an adult mentor can succeed. We saw students who were off track last year. They connected to a mentor. 70% of them were back on track. So in our summer retreats, we said, how can we do that with every single kid in the building? And we built in a 15-minute period. We tried to make it sound cool to the kids. It's not an advisory period. It's the summit where they come together, they learn about study skills and things of that nature to get them on track. Our house system is connected to that summit, so those students are in the house as a part of that summit. We had local historian Chris Marcello vet 20 different names of historic Hamiltonians to come up with the house system. These were the 6 that we ended up deciding on. We have Bailey, House Bailey after Jim Boxcar Bailey, Bailey Square. A lot of these have historical implications in Hamilton. Beckett, Hearst, McCloskey, Nuxall, and Wilkes that are all competing for the best grades, attendance, behavior, and it really has lit the culture of the freshman campus on fire and taken us to the next level.
So we have been able to use that time for a lot of things and helping our kids really be future focused. And so we've had those summit teachers meet with those kids and help them create graduation plans. So we know they're only freshmen, but we want them on track now and thinking about the future now. They're there, it's time to start the plan. So they created individual graduation plans in those summits with those teachers where they took a career survey, researched different careers or colleges or military or whatever they wanted to go into. And then we brought them back in for parent conferences and they presented them to their parents. We'll see if this will load. But at those conferences, they talked to their parents about what they researched and what they learned and all of the things. And it was interesting to see the parents not know what their kids were interested in. It was a good connection where a lot of the parents, I think, thought the kids would just give them fluff, and they gave a lot more than that.
We want to put students in the driver's seat for their future. We want to put students in the driver's seat for their futures. We want to blow up the traditional model where we have conferences where we're just talking at students, and we put students in the driver's seat for their futures. Over the course of the month of October, we launched this Dream Big initiative. We want all of our students to have not only just be on track, which is a big focus for us too, but to have a plan post-graduation. So tonight was the culmination of a lot of work from our students and our staff, where students led their parents in a student-led conference to talk about their future plans, their dreams, and how all the things they're doing at the freshman campus and in the Hamilton City Schools every single day are preparing them for their futures. And I would say it was a great success. I've seen a lot of people walking out having some pretty deep conversations about what surprises they had, like their student may be interested now in cosmetology or digital photography. I heard a student today say they were interested in nano engineering now. And the parent said, what is nano engineering? And the kid had a whole presentation about what that is. So just to hear those conversations has been huge. Was just really cool to see. People leaving with smiles on their faces. Student-led conferences went really well tonight.
I think those conferences and this individual graduation plans are just one thing we've done in Summit. We've done a lot of things to help these kids think about their future and help them prepare for high school.
Okay, so we want students to be prepared for the future, but what about now? There are so many job opportunities in our community right now where students can make $15 to $20 an hour is what I always say. Some of them are 12, but I try to get the hook. And in this summer's leadership retreat, which again, I want to thank the board for supporting that. Dustin Mundy, it was part of an informal conversation. Dustin Mundy, tech director, and I sat down And we thought about how can we collaborate with Mr. Cannell to create an Indeed.com for Hamilton City School students. And it went from a napkin conversation to a reality. We had an FC Works program the previous year, which was okay. As the kids say, it was kind of mid. But this was the next level up. We were able to take this, and what's cool about Hamilton is within a few months, this was launched and ready to go. So what we do is 2 to 3 times a week, Mr. Cannell comes over to our building. Mr. Cannell, shout out to you, sir. And I just go around to the cafeteria and I talk to students. Who wants a job? Who wants a summer opportunity? Who wants to work at Spooky Nook? And I walk them down. They're always very scared to go down and talk. And we connect them to this website, which allows them to see every job opportunity in our community that is willing to hire Hamilton City Schools students. He connects them to those job opportunities, gives them mock interviews, and the data really speaks for itself. What you can see here is throw out your notions of students don't want to work. Hundreds of kids are picking up job permits to try to work in our community. Just some impressive data really quickly here. 120 FC students in the last 2 years have been placed into job opportunities. The initial goal was 8 kids, and we're at 120 students placed from the freshman campus alone, and we're seeing that program continue to grow thanks to the work of Mr. Cannell.
So you guys have heard about a lot of great things that our staff and students are doing. One of the things that we want to do is celebrate all of them for all of this. We are going to be hosting a culminating school trip that's going to be held at Spooky Nook to celebrate the FC Cup. So this is all of our students that have met freshman on track requirements, whether it be grades, attendance, behavior, those kinds of things. This is being made possible by a massive fundraising campaign that we did, in which we were able to secure over $20,000. We did have 2 different students each bring in $1,900 apiece, and one staff member, shout out Mrs. Wilkie here, who secured over $8,000 to help support the FC house system. So I do have some invitations for you. We'd love to see you all at Spooky Nook here on May the 23rd.
We have 10 seconds to get there. What's next at the FC? We're leveling up even further. We're connecting Wilson and Garfield into one Hamilton at the FC. We have 750 plus students coming to us next year. We're taking teaming to the next level. You're going to see real world opportunities with urban gardening. All of our science curriculum is going to become much more hands-on. We want to make this real for the students. Students are going to learn about their roots, and they're going to grow their future through learning about the history of Hamilton. And then finally, our ELA is going to create this hero's journey curriculum where students at the freshman campus see themselves as heroes in their own story through their graduation plan. Because if everyone is moving forward together, then success will take care of itself. That's all we got.
I like that.
1536.
Just a couple comments. Number one, I realize that it's very unique because at the freshman campus, that's when all of these kids come together for the first time. So not only that, and the age that you guys are dealing with, I applaud you, because I'm not sure if I would ever have the patience to do it, because I can remember when I was that age. But I just am impressed with how you're engaging the kids, how you're engaging the parents. And it's really exciting to see see the opportunities with Chris, and actually talking to kids at that age, that there's other opportunities or other places they can go just beside college. I mean, and I think that really helps, because they realize that, wow, if I learn a trade, I can, I can still make a good living and live here in Hamilton, and I think that's great. So I applaud all 3 of you, and you seem like a really great team, and I loved your presentation.
I think it's important that you found a little niche with these young men and women. You're not quite treating them as students, but you're treating them as part of a team. You've come up with some great ideas. I know that Mr. Cannell, I've talked to him more than once. It amazes me how many of our students that he's met with, got jobs for. You are right, there are jobs out there. He's just teaching them how to do an interview, how to dress for an interview. and they want to work, $12 an hour, hey, that's better than buck and a quarter I got, well, but that was way back anyway. But anyway, I will say that this is impressive. Thank you.
Definitely knew this was going to be a presentation that we have never seen before. When I knew that the freshman and Mr. Smallwood and his crew would be presenting, so I definitely knew it would be something that we have never seen before. But definitely appreciate your energy and your effort and giving these students the opportunity to be a part of the planning of their future, because they're the ones that will have to live with the decisions that are made. Thank goodness for mom and dad being guidance and all that stuff, but they have to be in that driver's seat to make these decisions for their life. So I appreciate you guys putting them in that position to do that, as well as I appreciate the fact of you acknowledging that there has been behavior, the stigma and everything at the freshman building, because sometimes people want to skate behind stuff. So I appreciate the fact that you did, hit it head on, but also wrap things around it to be able to be proactive, that will not be the stigma anymore, but that it will be a place that facilitates the kids coming together for the first time, and as well as starting their freshman career and their journey into being high school students, and just how big that is, and that their life is taking a pivotal turn, and that they have you guys to help be a part of that. So again, I think the freshman building is definitely a fun place to be. I enjoy every time I have the opportunity to come over there, and I'm so glad the work that Mr. Cannell is doing and making sure that these young people are employed, because again, young people are not lazy, they just need the opportunity to be great, and I stand on that, and I believe that wholeheartedly. So I thank you guys for giving those kids the opportunity to be great.
Ty, Tyler, Megan, I don't think that many recognize there are a ton of challenges to run a standalone one-year building in which kids have a sense of belonging for 9 months. That's what we're asking them to do. And I think one of the things that isn't factored in that at the time that Southwest Ohio had this move on freshman buildings was, where is juniors and seniors to help provide leadership for freshmen? That doesn't exist in your hallways. What you have done is tried to create a culture to give those students a sense of belonging. And by doing these different things, by potting those kids, by having those events with houses, it gives them a sense of belonging, because they're only there 9 months. And the other piece that I really think has resonated, especially under the leadership of the three of you, is the fact that this is high school. Grades start counting, and you're on the clock. And so often we have students that look back and say, boy, I wish I would have done much better and been more focused my freshman year. And I think that message has been loud and clear. With all three of you, with your initiatives.
Second quarter particularly.
I'm sorry. I'm like positively annoying to the students, but we say that is the most important quarter of your high school career, because we do believe that
Yeah,
you can get them on
and
track.
it is. And we have kids that look back 2 and 3 years and say, boy, I wish I would have taken some things more seriously. I didn't recognize the fact that I wasn't at the main campus. Well, your clock starts the minute you walk into that building. And so I want to compliment all three of you. Putting that house system together, you mentioned it, I think it's critical. I think it's a critical piece to that sense of belonging that you've created in that building. I also am very impressed with the MAP data. That growth data is pretty special. And that's one of the reasons that over the last several years we've introduced that to the freshman level, is that, how do you measure that? How do you look at that? The elementaries do that. Well, that I think has been a huge motivator for your staff in a positive way. They can actually see that tangibly through some data mechanism, through the diagnostic assessment. So I just want to thank all three of you for your leadership, your guidance, not just this year, but for the last several years, in what I believe is the most challenging building to run in this district. For a number of different reasons, from age to the one-year piece, to the fact that it is the first time in our educational pathway in Hamilton in which everybody in Hamilton is under one house. So thank all three of you for a job well done.
Thank you guys. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, in your agendas, you should have several different items under our work session. The first item I would like to talk to the board about is that annually, we partner with the Butler County United Way on a backpack giveaway program. This is usually done in early August or late July. And what we do is through supplements with the United Way and through donations through the district, we make sure that every student is supplied with a backpack. And that backpack usually has some very rudimentary school supplies that are included in that. And what we have done in the past and what has been successful is that the board has been gracious enough to donate $5,000 towards that initiative, and the Butler County United Way supplements the rest of that. And so after my phone call with them earlier this week, I am asking the board if we can continue that program and have the go-ahead to allocate the $5,000 towards the program. It is going to be a little different this year. It was held in Markham Park last year. It's going to be back down at Booker T. Washington this year. It's going to be on Saturday, August 5th from 9 to noon. And we're going to give away backpacks, and we're going to have some goodies for kids. And it's usually a pretty positive experience. My wife and I did it last year. We had a really good time. It was really hot last year doing that, but it was a good time.
Do we need a motion for that, Mr. Holbrook?
We're in work session. You would have to.
We'd have
the
to
fi-
bring it.
The $5,000 is above the limit. It will have to be on a future board agenda
Okay,
for the
got it.
board, but we're just having an initial discussion right now,
Okay.
and we can put that on the May 25th board agenda if the